All right, today we're going to jump into a model of leadership that's, well, it's less about climbing the corporate ladder and way more about clearing a path for other people. We're going to explore what it really means to lead with purpose, especially in a ministry setting.
We're going to kick things off with this piece of wisdom from Aristotle, of all people. It's this universal truth, right? Great leadership doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's actually grown in the soil of humility, from learning how to follow first. And that idea, that's the foundation for everything we're about to talk about.
But that brings up a really important question. When we switch gears from just general leadership to the really specific world of ministry, does that definition change? I mean, what does it actually look like to lead when the bottom line isn't profit, but spiritual growth?
And that leads us right into our first big idea, the shepherd's high calling. This is where we're going to unpack the central metaphor that really shapes this entire way of thinking about leadership. So think about it like this. Leadership isn't about being a CEO in a boardroom. It's about being a shepherd out in the valley. What does that mean? Well, it means you're out front, you're setting the direction, you're getting rid of obstacles. But you're also right there with the flock, being present, encouraging them, and caring for them. It's that combination of both direction and presence that makes this so powerful.
So the ultimate goal here, the big vision, it's got nothing to do with building a personal empire. It's all about developing leaders who live out these core ideas. They model Christ-like character, they inspire people by their example, they're faithful with what they've been given, and, this is the big one, they choose to serve, not to dominate.
Okay, so let's move into our second section, the heart of a servant. Because if the goal is to serve, then the foundation for all of it has to be the leader's own character. It really does start from the inside out.
And the name for this is servant leadership. Now, this isn't just some trendy business buzzword. It's a whole philosophy where your main motivation, your primary goal, is to serve other people. It completely flips the typical power pyramid on its head, and it's modeled directly on Christ's example.
This really gets at the huge mental shift you have to make. I think the common misconception is that leadership equals authority and control. But in this reality, leadership is all about service and empowerment. So it's not about how many people report to you. It's about how many people you're equipping and helping to flourish.
And this is just so important. We can get really drawn to charismatic, flashy personalities, right? But what the source material here is saying is that all that style is secondary. Real, lasting, impactful leadership is built on something much quieter, but way stronger: character, humility, and obedience.
All right, so we've kind of covered the why and the who. Our third section, mapping out the journey, is where we get practical. This is all about how you turn that big vision into actual effective action.
It all kicks off with something called vision casting. Now, this is more than just having a good idea in your head. It's the active process of painting a picture of the future that is so clear and so compelling that it makes people want to get on board and move forward together.
And to make that happen, there's this fantastic, simple three-step model: vision, alignment, execution. First, you get crystal clear on the vision. Where are we going? Second, you align the whole team. Is everybody on the same path? And finally, you execute the plan. How are we actually going to walk this path side by side?
Of course, no leadership journey is just a smooth uphill climb. Our fourth section, Navigating the Valleys, is all about getting real with the challenges that every single leader is going to face.
And one of the biggest silent threats out there is burnout. It's sneaky. It usually starts from a really good place, a desire to serve, but it leads to overcommitment and trying to do everything yourself. And it can just totally drain a leader's tank before they even know it's happening.
So, how do you fight it? Well, there are three really smart strategic moves. First, you have to intentionally create a rhythm of rest and renewal. Second, you build a culture where it's okay to be honest about struggles. And third, you learn to delegate effectively, which, by the way, doesn't just lighten your load, it empowers your whole team.
The other big valley you're going to have to navigate is conflict. And look, it's not a matter of if it happens, it's a matter of when. When you have passionate people working toward a mission, disagreements are just inevitable. The real test of a leader is how you walk through them.
And the whole goal here isn't to win an argument, it's to restore unity. And that takes real integrity, it takes the courage to have those tough conversations with grace, and it means always focusing on a resolution that actually heals the relationship.
Which brings us to our final section, a lasting legacy. Because great leadership isn't just about what happens on your watch, it's about what you set in motion for the future, long after you're gone. The strategy is all about building what's called a leadership pipeline, and it's a really simple three-part process. You intentionally mentor potential leaders, you equip them with the tools and skills they need, and then, and this part is crucial, you actually empower them with real responsibility to lead.
Because at the end of the day, the real measure of your leadership isn't just a list of short-term wins, it's about sustainability. It's about making sure the mission is healthy and strong and continues to thrive for years to come. It's about building something that lasts.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question that takes us right back to that shepherd analogy. As a leader, what's your real focus? Are you busy building a monument to your own success, your own achievements? Or are you spending your energy clearing a path, making the journey better and safer for the flock that's coming up right behind you? The answer to that, well, that changes everything.